Have you ever noticed that the hardest decisions you make are often the smallest ones? Not the big life choices, those you can research and plan. I mean, the email you rewrote 6 times before deleting it. You knew exactly what you wanted to say. You had known for 10 minutes, but something in your brain would not let you send it. Here is what makes that strange. You are not a fearful person. You are not lazy. In most areas of your life, you are sharper than the people around you. You see more. You think faster. You understand things others miss entirely. And yet somehow, the people who think less than you are moving faster than you, deciding faster, finishing more, living with less friction. That gap has a name. It is called the intelligence paradox. And by the end of this video, you are going to understand exactly why it happens, what it is costing you in ways you have probably never put into words, and you are going to walk away with a specific framework built for how your brain actually works. But here is the thing I need you to hold on to right now. There is a question coming at the very end of this video, 10 seconds long, and the moment you hear it, something is going to click. You will not fully understand why it works until you have seen everything that comes before it. So stay with me all the way through. Let's go. I want to start by telling you something I wish someone had told me earlier. I used to think my overthinking was a discipline problem, that if I just pushed through it or forced myself to decide, I would be fine. I tried productivity systems, time blocking, cold showers. None of it touched the real issue, because the real issue was not my habits. It was how my brain was actually wired. And the moment I understood that, everything changed. So here is what is actually happening inside your head. Your brain is a pattern recognition machine. That is its core function. It takes in information, finds connections, and uses those connections to navigate the world. And the higher your intelligence, the more connections your brain finds, automatically, constantly, without you asking it to. On the surface, that sounds like a gift, and it is. But here is the problem. When you are trying to make a simple decision, your brain does not see 2 options. It sees 12. It sees the options, the outcomes, the risks, the exceptions, the what-ifs, the second-order effects, all at once, all demanding attention. While the average person is choosing between A and B, you are standing in a room with 50 doors, and your brain wants to open all of them before it lets you move. That is not weakness. That is not anxiety. That is just what a high-powered brain does. But it goes deeper. There is something called metacognition. Big word, simple idea. It means thinking about your thinking. High IQ people do this constantly. You do not just have thoughts. You watch yourself having them. You analyze them. You run them through a filter. And that ability is genuinely powerful. Until it never switches off. Then you end up in a loop, thinking about thinking about thinking, and nothing moves. Here is the one that will hit hardest. You have probably heard of the Dunning-Kruger Effect, the idea that people who know very little about something tend to be extremely confident about it. They do not know what they do not know, so they just go. Now, flip that completely. It is why the intern who knows nothing pitches the idea with full confidence, while the senior analyst who has seen every way it could fail stays quiet. Low confidence creates high confidence. High confidence creates a paralyzing awareness of everything that could go wrong. The person who knows less jumps. The person who knows more stands at the edge, running calculations. This is why average people sometimes outperform brilliant ones, not because they are better, because they are not burdened by everything they can see. Your brain is not broken. It is doing exactly what a high-performance engine does. The problem is nobody ever gave you the manual for it. You were told you were smart, and then left to figure out the rest alone. Let's talk about what this is actually taking from you. Because most people who deal with this have lived with it so long, they think it is just their personality. It is not. It is a pattern, and it is costing you in 3 specific places. Your relationships first. Think about the last real conversation you had with someone you care about. Were you fully there, or was part of your brain replaying something they said 5 minutes ago, analyzing their tone, preparing your next response? High IQ people are some of the loneliest people alive, not because they do not care, but because they are almost never fully present. And presence, not intelligence, not intentions, not effort, presence is the one thing people actually feel from you. When it is missing, people sense it, even when they cannot explain why. Your output second. How many ideas have died in your head, not because you lacked the ability, but because your brain would not let you call anything finished? Perfectionism feels like high standards, but for people like you, it is usually something else. It is identity protection wearing a very sophisticated disguise. And the cruel part is, identity protection looks identical to conscientiousness from the inside. Your brain cannot tell the difference between I am improving this and I am hiding behind this. So it never tells you to stop. We are going to come back to exactly why that is in the next section. And then there is the cost nobody talks about, your internal peace. A high IQ mind at war with itself is a specific kind of tired, not physical tired, a deep background exhaustion that follows you into conversations, into bed at night, into moments that should feel good but somehow never fully land. And the loneliest part, the people around you don't get it. You try to explain it, and it sounds like complaining. So you stop explaining, and you carry it quietly. The people around you with more peace, more output, more ease, they are not smarter than you. They are not more deserving. They are just not fighting their own brain every single day. And you are. That is not fair. But it is completely fixable. Because everything I just described has one thing in common. It is the same engine running without the right operating instructions. Here's the thing that is going to feel like an attack on you personally. It is not, but it will feel that way for a second. Your brain has been using your intelligence as a shield, not to help you, to protect you from ever being wrong. Think about what that actually means. Every time you overanalyze, every time you delay, every time you almost act and then pull back, your brain is not being careful, it is being safe. Because as long as you have not acted, you have not failed. And as long as you have not failed, the identity you have built around being smart stays completely intact. That is not overthinking, that is self-protection wearing the mask of intelligence. And here is the idea underneath all of that. Your intelligence is a tool, it is not your identity. Let that sit for a second. Most high IQ people have spent their entire life doing the opposite. From the time you were young, you were the smart one. That was your thing. That was how people saw you. That was how you saw yourself. Your intelligence became who you are, not something you have, something you are. And the moment you see that clearly, the whole pattern loses its grip on you. Now here is the practical side of this reframe. Your brain has two modes, analytical mode and execution mode. They are completely different. They cannot run at the same time. Trying to run both simultaneously is like trying to drive a car while rebuilding the engine mid-trip. You just go nowhere. Analytical mode is where your intelligence shines, planning, researching, seeing around corners, thinking through consequences. Use it before you act. Execution mode is different. It is about momentum, about trusting what you already know and letting it carry you forward without constantly interrupting the process to question it. This is where results actually get made. The high IQ trap is this: you do the analysis, you think it through completely, and then when it is time to shift into execution, your brain refuses to let go. It keeps pulling you back, and then you wonder why nothing moves. You would not use a scalpel to hammer a nail. Not because a scalpel is a bad tool, it is extraordinary, but it is the wrong tool for that moment. Your analytical mind is the same, extraordinary, and completely wrong for certain moments. The goal is not to think less. The goal is to know which mode the moment requires and have the discipline to stay in it. Here is what you have been waiting for. Before I give you these tools, I want to say one thing directly. I am not going to tell you to journal your way out of this or wake up at 5 a.m. Those things have their place. What I am giving you is something different. These are structural changes. small shifts in how you operate that compound quietly until one day you realize you are not fighting yourself anymore. 3 tools. All 3 matter. Tool 1, the good enough threshold. Your brain has no natural stopping point. When you are intelligent, your standard for done keeps moving. You finish something and immediately see how it could be better, so you keep going, and either it never gets finished or it takes 10 times longer than it should. The fix is this. Before you start anything, you decide what good enough looks like. Not perfect, good enough to move. You set that ceiling before your brain gets inside the work, because once you are inside, it will never tell you it is done. You have to tell it. Here is what this looks like on a real morning. You sit down to write an email to a client. Before you start typing, you say, "Good enough means it clearly states what I need and has no errors." That is the ceiling. The moment it clears that bar, it goes. No fourth draft, no second guessing the tone. It meets the threshold, it moves. This is not lowering your standards. This is giving your standards a finish line. Tool 2, the instinct window. This one will feel uncomfortable. That discomfort is exactly why it works. For any decision that is low to medium stakes, and most of your daily decisions are, your first instinct gets automatic execution. No deliberation, no opening 50 doors. You feel it, you act, done. Here is what this looks like in practice. Which task to do first this morning? What to order? Whether to send the message? You feel the instinct, you go. And here is why it works. Research on decision fatigue shows that your brain spends the same cognitive energy on a small decision as a large one. So the person who deliberates on 50 small things arrives at their important decisions already depleted. Your instinct is not random. It is your pattern recognition system running at full speed, without the interference of conscious second-guessing. You are not bypassing your intelligence. You are using a faster version of it. What you are training is not recklessness. You are rebuilding trust in yourself, one small decision at a time. Tool 3, mode switching. This one ties everything together. Before you enter any task, ask one question. What does this moment actually require? Analysis or execution? If analysis, think fully. That is what you are built for. Take your time. The moment it shifts to execution, you close the analytical door. Deliberately. You can even say it out loud. Execution mode now. And in execution mode, the only job is to move. Not evaluate the movement, not question it, move. Then, after, not during, after, you review, you assess, you improve for next time. Here is what this looks like in a real situation. You are about to have a hard conversation with someone. The night before, analytical mode. You think it through. You know what you want to say. Then, when you are sitting in front of them, execution mode. You trust the preparation. You stay present. You do not analyze mid-conversation. After it is done, review mode. What worked? What you would adjust? Analysis before. Execution during. Review after. Never all 3 at once. Your brain has spent years collapsing these into one overwhelming loop. Separating them will feel strange at first. Do it anyway. On the other side is a version of you that actually finishes things, that ships, that moves. That version has been there the whole time. Let me bring this all the way home. You came into this video maybe feeling like something was quietly wrong with you, like you were too smart to be this stuck. Like you had all the capability, but somehow could not access it consistently. Like you were carrying a private exhaustion that the people around you could not see and wouldn't understand. I want to say this as directly as I can. You are not broken. You never were. You had a powerful engine and no manual, and so the engine ran you instead of the other way around. Every pattern I described today, the 50 doors, the identity protection, the loop that never switches off, none of it is a flaw. It is an unmanaged strength, and now you have the tools to manage it. Raw intelligence is just potential. It is not a result. It is not a life. The people who get the most from a high IQ mind are not the ones who think hardest. They are the ones who learned when to think and when to stop, when to analyze and when to trust, when to plan and when to simply go. That is the whole game. And now you know how to play it. Here is your challenge for the next 48 hours. Every time you catch yourself spiraling on something small, rewriting the same thing, frozen on a simple choice, stuck in a loop your gut already knows the answer to, stop and ask yourself this one question. Am I thinking about this? Or is this thinking happening to me? And yes, I know what some of you are thinking right now. What about when you are already inside the loop, not before it, already in it, mid-spiral, mid-overthink, mid-freeze? What do you do then? The answer is the same question. Here's why it works in both situations. The moment you label the loop, you step outside it. Your brain cannot be both inside the spiral and observing it at the same time. Whether you catch it before it starts or in the middle of it, that one question creates a split second of distance. And in that space, for maybe the first time, you get to choose whether your brain is serving you or running you. That is not a small thing. That is everything. Your intelligence was never the problem. The relationship you had with it was. And you just changed that relationship. Now, go do something with it. Not perfectly, not when you feel ready. Now.